Well, good morning, and welcome to another little video. I'm not exactly sure, which is always a good thing, um, where I want to go with this video. I've had a few things pop up this week, and sometimes when things pop up, I'll think, oh, I'll make a video on that. I'll put it out there as a declaration and see what comes back. And sometimes the comments I get back from making videos or posts or having conversations with people or anything, anything from the expression of self is very useful in being given something to look at within myself as an idea of um, an attachment or a grievance or something that is still operating in the background of mind that has an allegiance to the temporal association of life. And it's not that you can actually ever, I can actually ever disconnect entirely other than the moment of enlightenment, but you can't actually disconnect entirely from ego, because ego is what it is that fabricates, maintains, and animates the vessel, the body, the avatar. And there's quite a lot of mosquitoes up here today, I'm noticing. So one of the things that happened this week was I was having a discussion with someone who had had an experience of their enlightenment in India, and was asking me regards that experience if I thought that it was a full-fledged experience of enlightenment, I guess. And it's very hard to um, relate to someone else's experience other than to be able to say, well, there's only one experience of enlightenment, and if it wasn't exactly the same as mine, no matter how that happened, that you would have to look at it for yourself again. So in looking at this idea, then I suggested to this person that they begin to, in a sense, step up and to speak from that experience, to claim that enlightenment, to claim that realization of self for themselves, rather than to, and this is always, I'm talking to myself here, hence this video, to claim that experience for themselves and to declare that the enlightenment of the mind has occurred and the realization of self has occurred and the memory of God has been returned to the conscious association, or the mind that is part and parcel of their conscious association, which is Christ mind. Very difficult to put into words what I'm trying to say right now. But anyway, to speak from that place, to declare I'm enlightened and I've seen God and whatever. And traditionally in days gone by, if you'd walked around saying I've seen God, you'd probably be locked up and medicated. And in India, if you walked around saying I've seen God and I remember the truth and all of these sorts of things, and you'd probably be like, yeah, whatever, so's everybody else. It's such a big part of their culture and their traditions and everything over there, their life. But this person said to me, the reply that I got was, and I've heard this before actually somewhere, but the reply that I got was, oh, enlightened people don't walk around saying that they're enlightened. And I thought, well, there's a stereotype if ever I've heard one. And what comes to mind was Jesus's teaching, like what you hear in the ear, shout it from the rooftops. And it's like, man, if you hear something in their ear that says you're whole and perfect or whatever, and you shout that from the rooftops, what if you have a full-blown direct communication with God? What are you going to do with that? What if you're taken from the physical realm in its entirety and remember eternity and everything like that, and the mind is restored to its natural state? There's not a rooftop high enough to shout that from. So I guess the idea then of smashing stereotypes or dispelling illusions about what enlightenment is or what you should or shouldn't do if you're an enlightened mind. And there are many enlightened minds on the planet at the moment, many. And my friend Lloyd over there in the United States, g'day Lloyd Lapp, look him up, go and pester him. And my wife Rosanna and others, many others. And it's something that is occurring as a natural occurrence now. It's like people are just waking up. Some with spiritual training, some without, who will need spiritual training perhaps. And the idea then that enlightenment is some kind of up there for other people pursuit is not true. It's like enlightenment is for everyone eventually. It's like right now would be great, but it's something that it doesn't have a taboo about it, I don't think, but it's kind of seen as an unrealistic goal by those who understand it, and those who don't understand it, it's kind of seen as some kind of mysterious, fantastical, I don't really know. But the funny idea about those who are enlightened don't go around saying that they are enlightened. It's like, well, you look at the idea of the Buddha, and he had all of his students, and they all witnessed his enlightenment, and they all went around saying, we witnessed this man transcend the realm and have this incredible experience to become the Maitreya, I think it is, and teaches from the singularity of that. And during my own experience of enlightenment, there were 7 or 8 people in the room with me, and I don't know what they say about me, probably that I was difficult and uncooperative. But it's funny, but you have to declare it. You have to step up there, not so you can be seen as someone who is amazing or someone who has done something incredible, because enlightenment is simply remembering who you are, what you truly are. It's like it's the greatest idiot's grin ever. It's like the thing that makes me laugh often is in India, the reverence given to enlightened beings, and it's like all they've really done is to remember who they are. If you can hear that for what it is, it's kind of funny. And lost track of where I was going there. But anyway, and the other thing, dog's passing wind over here next to me. He lies there quite contently when I do these videos. He loves to sit up here and hang around when I'm recording stuff. I think he likes the energy of it. But then he follows me everywhere anyway. So there's another spin I put on something that's just natural. So the other thing that I wanted to make a video about or comment on perhaps is the idea of resistance. I made a short post about resistance earlier in the week, I think. And somebody inboxed me off that post. Good Lord, I'm being swamped by mosquitoes. I have to go to the Red Cross for a pint of blood after I finished here. Somebody wrote to me and was telling me about all the resistance they had to everything in their life. To authority was the big one. They were concerned about the way the world is going, and I've got to keep my finger on my nose there. I'm always concerned about the way the world is going. I'm always allowing myself to become, if I can, emotionally drawn into these things so that I can see where it is my tethers are to the world. Not so I can fix the problems that seem to show up as problems for me, because there are no problems. But the world is the world, and it will always be what it is, a place where minds come to get the results of their own thinking in the experience of the idea of separation from source. And that's going to look like whatever it looks like. In the days of old Rome, it would have looked like the Colosseum, and being captured as a slave, perhaps, and, like horrific. That would have been horrific in those days, and trained to be a gladiator to go and fight a lion or somebody 10 feet taller than you. And today it's whatever it is, coronaviruses and one world orders or something, which actually I think is quite a common sense approach to looking at the nature of life on Earth at the moment. If we're ever going to get things together in a universal sense, we're going to have to begin with a global sense, and that's going to take a universal kind of structuring, which is what spirituality is designed for anyway, to bring the mind to a universal acceptance of the way things are. So the idea of resistance then, showing up in one's life in relationship to situations and events that seem to be outside yourself, is a useful one. If indeed you are intent upon giving up the world, and following Jesus, or following the teachings of the Buddha or Krishna, it doesn't really matter. But I think I'm going to follow my common sense and get out of these mosquitoes in a minute. But the idea of resistance is useful. It's like, remember to set the goal as inner peace. Got me again. Oh, they're getting bad. I think they pass a message to each other saying there's a bloke just sitting over there doing nothing. The blood bank is open. So anyway, the idea of resistance. Yep. All right, I got to go. I'm gonna talk as I walk here. Let's see if I can work out this selfie stick. Come on, boy. So the idea of resistance is useful if you remember that your goal is inner peace, and anything that disturbs that sense of peace within yourself, anything that brings up resistance or anger or judgment or grievances or anything, is useful as grist for the mill, as something that you can, Buddha, something that you can use, a situation you can use to apply the principles of your spiritual path to. And if you're not sure what the principles of your spiritual path are, you can get yourself a copy of A Course in Miracles, which is available online or through my website. There's a free PDF copy of the Sparkly edition, or you can buy the new white edition for, I don't know what it's selling for these days. And all that money goes to the Thetford Foundation for the printing of the little books that we give away for free. But get yourself a copy of A Course in Miracles and start reading, and you'll soon begin to form a kind of a picture of what spiritual principles are and how they work in your life, or how they can work in your life if you apply them. And resistance is a great one. Resistance to authority especially, because we seem to be beset by people telling us this is the way our lives should be, that's the way our lives should be, da-da-da-da-da. And we try to sort of pick and choose which we like. In our country here, we have Australia, we have a two-party preferred system. Well, I don't know who said it was preferred, but we have two major parties, and you're given the illusion of choice between one or the other, as if it's going to be better under one or better under the other, which is hilarious. And you're forced to make a choice under penalty of being fined if you don't go to vote for one of these two illustrious choices. But my choice is for God. My choice is for peace. It doesn't matter which of those I choose. It doesn't matter who says to me what I should or shouldn't do. It's like my purpose is to watch my own sense of inner peace and to accept through that watchfulness how things are out here as the status quo without wanting to rebel against things or have an opinion that says contrary to something else, because you can't be at peace if you're fighting a war. If you're trying to jostle with ideas in your mind that this is better for you or that's better for you, it's like it's never going to work. Good luck with that, and I dare you to try. You've been trying for years. It's better just to let it all go and go with the flow and not be concerned one way or the other. Let those who are concerned about running the world run the world, and you just give up the world and follow me. I love you. Don't worry about anything. Stay in the flow.